Hey guys, it's Missy Wolf, and I'm here with Hailey Whitters.
Hi.
Wow, so I have a lot to talk to you about, number one, but thank you so much for taking the time to, speak with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, you have a lot going on. You released your debut album, Black Sheep, recently. It was in October. How has that been for you?
It's been awesome. It was my first album, so just kind of seeing the whole process, taking songs from the writer room and then onto the album and out into the world has just been really cool, to see it all kind of come full circle. So it's been a good couple months after the release.
I was going to ask, how busy have you been? Because when you look on your tour schedule, you're playing a lot of gigs, and you just seem so busy. So what has that been like?
Yeah, I have been really busy. It's been good. I mean, I'm traveling with 3 dudes, and we're in a Jeep. We're not in a van or a bus or anything, and sleeping on, in hotel rooms and whatnot. But it's been really good, and it's been a great learning experience just seeing a bunch of different crowds and audiences. Right. We opened for Leon Russell. We went and did some shows with him, and then opening for some more mainstream country acts like Jared Neiman and Janet Kramer and stuff. And so it's just there's a bunch of different audiences, and so being out on the road and opening for those different kinds of music has been a great just kind of crash course in learning your audience,
Right, definitely. And I was actually going to ask about that. Does it relieve a little bit of stress for you knowing that, okay, you're opening for these people, so their ticket sales and their fans are already there, and they're going to, they're there to see them as well as you. So does it take a little bit of pressure off knowing that you weren't the one responsible per se, having to fill all those seats?
Yeah, I think so. I think, especially just being the opening act, it's just your goal is to pretty much just work the crowd and get them even more excited for the headliner. So yeah, I mean, it does take a lot of pressure off. It's not like I feel like I have to fill seats, but we've been lucky enough to pretty much walk into pretty full rooms when we're opening for those people. So it's kind of good to know there's a built-in crowd already.
Right. Well, that's just something I've always wondered, is it really just, hard for you knowing that you have, this other act that's following you, and so you're having to be the one to warm up the crowd, or is it really kind of nice knowing that crowd is there, the house is packed, and you just get to perform and get them all worked up? I love asking that question because, it's something that me as a writer, I just, I'm curious about. I'm not a performer, so I haven't had to deal with that. But now, and you growing up, the population of where you grew up was what, close to 600 people?
Yeah, I guess that's what Wikipedia says. It was a pretty small town. Where I'm from, it's a bunch of little farm towns that are all 5 to 10 minute drives down back roads to one another. So it's but that being said, I was 5 minutes from an interstate. So where I could get to, I was at our Cedar Rapids within 20 minutes. So it wasn't like I was way out in the middle of nowhere, but my hometown definitely was we don't even have a post office. We have 2 bars, a wine cellar, and a church. So it was
you got the church in there with the bar. It's important. Yeah, you got to have balance.
Right? You got Saturday night and Sunday morning.
Oh,
it was good because we kind of just made our own fun. We found things to do. We'd go out to these woods that were by our house. It was called Green Castle, and it was just tons of land. And this is probably illegal, but we would just go out there and have bonfires, when we were in high school. And so that's what we did for fun.
Oh, well, you know what? I mean, that's great. The fact that, you lived where you lived, and I'm sure you have so many awesome stories, that, City Girls, your song is really amazing. And so did you come up with that song based on your experiences growing up?
Well, actually, that song was written by 2 good friends of mine, Adam and Shannon Wright. And a friend was playing me some of Shannon's music one day, and that song came on, and I just felt like I could relate to it instantly because, growing up in the country, I wanted to get out of it as soon as I could. It was kind of traumatic, and I was like, I'm going to move out of here as soon as I turn 18, and I'm going to live like in a bigger city, or Nashville, of course, is the city for me. But
right.
So I felt like it was a fresh way of saying I'm country.
Right.
I'm from the country, without having to plaster I'm country.
Absolutely.
In everyone's brain.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I did feel that way. I feel like I thought it was cool too when I heard that song to know that someone else felt that way, because I feel like being in country music, you're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to say you want to get out of the country.
Right. Well, and I completely understand that. And I think that a lot of people can actually relate to that. I mean, your small town might be smaller than someone else's, but there's always somebody who wants to get out of where they're at.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that that's a great song, and it's very easily related to. Another one is Black Sheep. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I love that song. And, one of the lyrics that struck me is, when I'm gone, you're not going to look as white. And it's so true, right? When people like to judge others and put labels on you, and you're just the trouble child, and you're this and you're that, and you're just looking at them like, yeah, right, you're not as pure as you say you are. So I love that. I love that song. And what has that experience been for you, singing that? That's just a great song, and I know that it's your title track of your album. So what has that been like for you?
You mean like the writing process, or
and just performing it and owning? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, writing it, we kind of wrote it kind of fast. I just really had the title. I didn't really have any idea behind it or anything. And then I brought it into Adam, right, my co-writer, and he just kind of started running with it. And he wrote the line, "Who really wants to be white as snow?" And then I was like, followed it up with the thing about black as the dirt don't show. So it's like, it came really natural, and I feel sometimes like the Black Sheep, just especially in like the music industry and stuff. Like, people kind of try and put my music in a genre, and it's like, well, you're a little too left for country, and then it's like, well, you're a little too country for Americana. So it's kind of like this: where do I fit? Where do I belong? And then just kind of being like, you know what? I'm just gonna do my thing. It'll fall where it falls. I'm not going to try and put it into one or the other.
Absolutely. And
so
you're seeing
empowering.
That now.
I'm sorry?
I said, yeah, you're seeing a lot of that now where, people have so many different styles on one album, so it's not just it fits in here or there. It's just kind of all over the map. And I think that's actually really good because it allows you to be more creative.
Yeah, and the thing about, I kind of noticed with like some of my favorite artists, like, Patty Griffin is Patty Griffin to me, or, Ryan Adams, he reinvents himself a lot, but he's just Ryan Adams. You know what his sound is, So
right.
It kind of seems that some of my favorite artists have always just kind of made their own genre, and not necessarily tried to fit into anything, so.
Exactly. Now, you said you live in Nashville, and I read that your first trip to Nashville you took when you were 16. You decided you wanted to move there, and you were very ambitious, and you just moved there the next year. How did your family, how did your friends, how did everybody react to that? That seems so, it does seem a little dramatic, but, I relate to that one as well. But how did your family react?
I think they always knew that I wanted to do music and that I was going to go wherever it was, My mom was like terrified when I was telling her I was moving to Nashville when I graduated high school, because I didn't know anybody in Nashville, and I was just set on moving there whether or not I went to school or not. I was just going to move there, I guess, and try and figure it out, which looking back is hilarious to me. But my mom started looking around for like colleges and stuff. I think she kind of wanted me to have some sort of safety net to fall in.
Right.
So she was like, okay, well, look at this. They have a music business program. What would you apply here? And I was kind of like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, if that's going to help me get there, you're going to let me know and go to Belmont, So
right.
It was the only college I applied for, and luckily I got in, and then, moved here that fall. So
that's great.
I think that I've always been kind of, stubborn and, had my mind made up. So it's kind of like, I'm going.
And you know what? I mean, I know that there's a lot of people out there who will say, that's a blessing and a curse. But, I don't look at it as a curse. I think it is a blessing, because when you know what you want, that's a really amazing thing, because you're going to work harder for it, and you're going to prove to people who are naysayers, and you're like, oh, no, I'm going to do this, and watch me. And then they watch you, and it's really exciting. So bravo to you for that. I love that. I've always been labeled the black sheep of my family. So immediately when I was like, oh, that's her album, like, oh my gosh, we have so much to talk about. But, and then I read that you're a risk taker, and then I read about Nashville, and I'm like, all right, this girl has some stories. So are there any risk taking stories that you can share with us? Because I love that. I love being a risk taker myself. So I want to know.
I jumped out of a plane once. I skydived. That's pretty risky.
Yeah.
And looking back, I probably would not have done it. I feel like when you're young, you're full of risk taking, and the older you get, you kind of out from some of it.
Oh yeah.
But, yeah, I mean moving to Nashville was like a huge gamble for me. I've always kind of been one or the other, I'm not really the middle ground kind of person. I'm either all in or all out. And I just feel sometimes you have to take these risks to win, just kind of professionally or personally or whatever, I'd rather jump into something with just my full self and go from there, than kind of sitting in the middle about it.
Well, and Nashville is one of those cities that I just feel is one of these amazing, magical cities where, when you go there, if it speaks to you and it calls you and you feel like you need to be there, it's just like that's what it does for people. I've heard it so many times, like you just know when you go there. It's not like touring any other city in the world to me. It's just when I got there, I just knew that I had to live there. And 2 months later I moved, so I get it. And I've heard that from a lot of people. So, but I'm so glad that you have. Are you happy with all those choices that you've made?
Yeah, I mean, so far I'm pretty lucky. Nothing's come back to bite me in the ass yet, but we'll see, But
sounds like that could be a new song.
Right. I know. I'd just rather know that I gave it everything I had and lost rather than, I never tried.
Right.
So.
Absolutely. I think that's a really great positive outlook to have too. And, just congratulations on everything so far. I mean, in 2012, you were signed to Left of Center Lighthouse Carnival Music is what I read. Was that a moment for you that you were just completely, I mean, has it hit you yet? I know it was in 2012, but it just seems like you were just off and running and there is no stopping you.
Yeah, no, I loved Carnival. So, it was my first choice as far as signing with a publishing company in town. I just love the creative environment. So it still just feels really cool to be a part of that roster and a part of that company.
Right.
Yeah, I know. It's a great feeling. I really respect a lot of the writers there. And, Frank Liddell's the owner, and he's great and super well respected around town. So I'm very lucky to be a part of that company.
No, definitely. And I mean, you have shows booked out all the way till May 16th, I saw. And I know that one is the Golf and Guitars. And you're going to be out here in California. Have you been to California before?
I have. My sister actually moved to Oakland about a year and a half ago.
Oh, okay.
For the Oakland A baseball team. So
nice.
I was just out there visiting her in October. We went hiking on the Lost Coast Trail.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I'm excited to get back out there, though. I think she said it's about an hour from her, so she's going to come to Sacramento. It'll be
right. Fun. Oh, that'll be a blast. I'm glad you're going to get to see her while you're out here then for that. But, when I read that you had shows booked all the way till May, I was like, wow, this girl is going to be crazy, insane, busy. So good luck to you with everything. And, congratulations on the release of your debut album. That's fantastic. And, everybody at Center Stage loves it. And you have an amazing voice. I didn't tell you that earlier. I'm so sorry. But
you
do. You have a great voice. So, it's no wonder why you're off and running the way that you are. And, kudos to your mom for, letting you follow your own path and your dreams, but for making sure you stick, to school too. So that's great. We love moms that are like that. So yay, mom. And just best of luck to you. And, let us know if you have anything else coming up. But is there anything that you want to tell your fans right now that we haven't, talked about?
I feel like we've talked about everything. Maybe just like socials. Keep up with me on socials and stuff.
Absolutely.
My handle is just at Hailey Whitters, and my website's just HaileyWhitters.com. And yeah, we're going to be on the road a lot this year, and so I can't wait. And I've never played California, so I'm excited about hitting some new markets. So.
Absolutely. Well, you're going to do fantastic. I just know it, and California needs you. So come on out, and
yeah, I'm ready.
Absolutely. All right. Well, stay in touch. Let us know if you have anything new and exciting so we can promote it for you, because, that's what we do here. So, but have a great night. Thank you so much again for taking the time, and I cannot wait to hear more from you.
Yeah, thank you. It was good talking to you.
You too. All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.